So one of my most anticipated anime since it's been announced has finally dropped. The first episode of Solo Leveling looked amazing and did not disappoint whatsoever. I have to say A1 Pictures did a stupendous job. As a fan that read the whole series, I was not disappointed one bit. And for those who do not know what Solo Leveling is, it's not your typical manga. It's actually a manhwa that got its start as a webcomic, just like Tower of God and God of High School, which doesn't change much about it as an anime. It just means it goes a Netflix route and means we're pulling a Squid Games. Yep, it's a Korea, baby. And I think Solo Leveling's team learned from its two predecessors on how to really do this show right, which I am totally glad about because I think this one might be better than both of them. So just a brief summary before we go into this episode. If you don't know anything about Solo Leveling, it's just like every other power fantasy reverse isekai, where monsters come out of gates and the heroes of this world, known as hunters, trademark, defeat them and get money and fame and all that jazz. Even though this is a Korean anime, it still hits you with all the nice anime tropes like black hair protagonist who becomes OP, fan service, and ranking systems, because you can't have any power anime anymore without a nice ranking system. And the ranking system goes as follows: from S rank, A rank, B rank, C rank, D rank, and the lowest rank of them all being E rank, which so happens to be where our main protagonist stacks up. But unlike other animes, in this show, your rank is your rank. You're not supposed to be able to get stronger, weaker, or level up. But I will say subscribe if you like this video, because I do want to do a video going more in depth on each of the ranks in Solo Leveling. But with all the contacts out of the way, I'm Shaman. What's poppin'? Let's hop into it. So starting off, they already make some big changes by letting the first 4 minutes being dedicated to alluding to this ant island that is something that we will not touch on for quite a while, as it is more a lingering problem in the background through the story and won't go to full touched on until like 90 chapters in. But I do think this was a smart choice to do because it sets the stage for future events and for the type of action and heroes that you'll be seeing throughout this story, kind of hinting and letting the viewer know that this is what this show is really about, and you should stick around for just a bit and not to get confused by the whole intro and think that this is some gruesome dark anime. It's actually a really great action one, because like in the original manhwa, it does take a couple chapters for the action and the story to really get going. So it'll probably really take a few episodes for you to see the real flashy action hero stuff. But don't worry, this episode and the next few episodes will keep you holed over until we get to the real good juicy stuff. So stick around. But after this intro foreshadowing flashbacks, we actually go straight into where the manhwa starts and begins bringing us to our main character, Sun Woo, who's kind of a nervous wreck and a scaredy cat of a protagonist. When we first meet him, many refer to him as the weakest hunter of mankind, being an E rank. So he's the bottom of the bottom, where most people see him as a hindrance or a casualty. But they also like him because it means the dungeon must be pretty easy. Cause Sun Woo is so weak that he even got hurt in an E rank level dungeon that hospitalized him for a little. But even when he overhears that people are making fun of him, he can't be too mad because even he knows that he's pretty weak. Cause he's really doing this for his family because his father's out of the picture, which will be something that they touch on later in the series. But he is really the only man in the house and the breadwinner, as his mom is sick, so he has to do what he can. But luckily for him, gates have to be entered with a party, so he's able to tag along with other hunters and try his best at getting some loot. Which brings me to the point of why they go into these gates, is that it's a big money spill. Whatever you slay, you keep. So many hunters go here to pay their bills, or so they can get equipment so they can get into better dungeons or make their dungeon hunting easier. But after showing up ready to tackle the gate, he actually meets his friend Johi, who's the healer of the group, who's very concerned of him even entering gates, cause she doesn't want nothing bad to happen to him. Because of her being a low rank healer, she won't be able to save him all the time. She also plays a role of one of Sun Woo's love interests, but you'll see our boy has a very anime harem to pick from later on. So after the motivational speech, they go in, meet the party, and the party leader being Sung, who is like a higher rank hero and will be leading this party's charge in this low rank gate. We find out how broke our boy Sunwoo is too, as he can only afford a very weak knife that won't really do much or help him much, but he'll try to make it work the best he can. As you can see, it's not much compared to everyone else having axes, swords, armor, and much more that they've earned through doing many gates. But luckily, our boy Sunwoo finally gets his first essence stone, which will sell for a pretty penny. But you can tell Sunwoo hasn't been watching Goblin Slayer because our boy gets shanked instantly. Luckily, Jiho was able to heal him up while the whole other team was taking care of a werewolf, what they thought was the final boss of the dungeon, and oh, they couldn't be more wrong. Which they find out they're actually a double dungeon, which has never really happened before. So they put it to a vote if they should go further. It's 6-6 and they need a tiebreaker, so Sunwoo has to break this tie, which he does because our boy is broke and he needs to go further and make more money. So as they go down the scary dark double dungeon, we cut away to what I will probably say will be everyone's favorite sexy badass blonde of the season this year. That being Cha-hee-in. Okay, I don't know. This is Korean names. I barely could do the Japanese ones. Cut me some slack here. But she's a high-rank S-class hero who also has a thing for black-haired protagonists. But after meeting the art community's next big victim, we cut back to the party in the double dungeon, where Jo-hee is shooting her shot with our boy, telling him that he needs to take her out on a date after this. But the conversation is interrupted as the team finds a huge door, which is a very rare occurrence. Man, 2 rare occurrences back to back. I mean, I just have a feeling that nothing could go wrong. It must be a good day. So what do you think this experienced party did? A, turn back and get help? B, open the door? C, come on, y'all know they opened the door. Which they walk into a huge room where if you ask any webcomic fan of this show, will traumatize you forever. As the team has an eerie feeling that something is watching them, another part of the team is reading a text that tells them they will not leave alive, which triggers the door to seal shut and traps them inside as soon as one of them try to even touch it. Yep, they're fucked. And Sunwoo still gets that eerie feeling like they're being watched and looks back and sees this. Oh man, and after that, they get hit with the dark side Omega beams, realizing that they're in a bad situation and the episode ends. So my quick thought on the series real quick, so far, I think it's really good. They're doing a great job in staying very close to the source material while also having the flexibility to add things that I think that are very needed for newcomers and for an anime adaptation, showing characters and elements that will come in later and giving more story and world building. I will say for new people, try to stay with a story for at least 2 to 3 more episodes. Then you'll start to see the whole action fights that you want to see. And if you don't feel hooked yet, wait for the 2nd episode, because I feel like that was one of the things that hooked me because it just gets so crazy. Not trying to overhype it. But I will say for people, just in case, if you're 50-50 on the show, I do want to be transparent and say that if you are here for story, you might be disappointed because Solo Leveling is not a real story-based anime like Jujutsu Kaisen or Dr. Stone. It's really a show that is driven by the action and turning your brain off and having fun like in One Punch Man. Solo Leveling primarily focuses on great art, visuals, and being well paced, because once the ball starts rolling, it keeps on going. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about this. If you want to see me talk about more Solo Leveling, let me know down below. And until next time, peace.